Well, hello, and welcome back. And welcome back to myself. I got over the COVID and I'm finally back in making the videos for you. I did have COVID classic where you lose your sense of smell and taste. It was really weird. I had flu-like symptoms, but not only did I have the symptoms of the flu, I lost my sense of taste and smell, and that wasn't very fun. Even when I ate ice cream or something that was tasty, I couldn't taste or smell anything, and I couldn't smell even my most potent colognes or scents. I even did a video of my losing my sense of smell, seeing if I could smell any of my potent fragrances, and I couldn't. And that's how COVID can affect you. I won't go into the politics of COVID, but just want to let you guys know that I did get all my vaccines and boosters, and I even got my flu shots and everything, and I was protected for the longest time, but somehow I got it earlier this month, and I don't know how I got it. So just to all of you out there, keep safe and, take care of yourselves out there and be careful of close contacts and do what you can to socially quarantine yourselves against getting this dreaded kind of sickness. But anyway, let's get on with the comparisons I have for you today. Today I want to compare two fragrances that would make potentially very good gifts for Christmas. And the reason why I chose these two is because recently on YouTube I've seen short commercials of these two colognes recently, and I think they're trying to market these for Christmas season. So on your left, we have Versace Eros Parfum, and then on your right, we have Bleu de Chanel Parfum. They're both parfum concentrations. And the Versace Eros on your left was released in 2021. On your right, the Bleu de Chanel Parfum was released in 2018. So not too far back, and especially for the Versace Eros, that was only released a couple years back. It seemed like it was released more or longer, but I'm probably thinking about the other versions of Eros, the Eau de Toilette and Eau de Parfum. But this Parfum version was released in 2021, not too long ago. And getting down to the scent profiles, on the opening for the Versace Eros, you get a citrusy bergamot, lemon, and amber, and a definite mint. If you like mint, you might want to check this scent out. And it's an aromatic, fresh mint on the opening. And then on the Bleu de Chanel, the opening, it's an interesting opening. You get this... You get a definite citrus, but more blended in with the citrus, you get this what's called aldehydic quality. And if you look on Fragrantica, the definition of aldehydic is kind of, they have a funny definition for it. It's they call it an abstract, soapy, fatty, fresh smell, reminiscent of fresh laundry and frost. And the group that they put it under is natural and synthetic, popular and weird. I think their definition of aldehydic is kind of weird. And what a dichotomy in the description of the grouping. But I kind of get where they're coming from. This Bleu de Chanel, the opening is kind of abstract. And yet it's not so abstract to where it's synthetic. So I think Chanel had did a good job in producing a sophisticated scent on this opening. And some of the waxiness that comes from it is kind of like the DNA in the Bleu de Chanel line. I've noticed that in the other concentrations of Bleu de Chanel. And then moving on to the mids, after about 15-20 minutes, the Versace Eros, you get a fresh aromatic that's a minty citrus with hints of amber, some powderiness. Maybe the powderiness comes from the geranium that comes in, and maybe some dusty tonka bean. On the mids for the Bleu de Chanel, you get an aromatic citrus pineapple, and the waxy amber is retained, and some powderiness from, I believe, probably some lavender that comes in. Then once it settles down completely on your skin, the Versace Eros develops into a fresh minty lemon, apple, geranium, amber mix. The tonka bean goes away. And I've noticed on both scents, they become fairly similar once they both settle down on the skin, but they're both unique in their way, and I'll get to that towards the conclusion of what the uniqueness are, even though they seem both kind of familiar and similar. And then on the settle down for the Bleu de Chanel, you get a bergamot pineapple, lavender, geranium, maybe some wood comes in, a sandalwood. And like I said, once on the settle down phase, both these scents become fairly similar, but in their own unique way. Moving on to performance, the Versace settles on your skin after about 15 minutes and is a good performer. It lasts 6 to 7 hours on my skin. And then on the Bleu de Chanel, it's a moderate performer. It settles down on the skin after 10 minutes and lasts 5 to 6 hours. Moving on to masculinity. On the masculinity scale of 1 to 10, I think both these scents are at the same level. I think they're both 6 out of 10s. I don't think they're very masculine, and I don't think they're feminine, but they are for men. But I can see how they have a feminine side to them, and I think even some women can pull off wearing these scents. But it's an enjoyable scent, and definitely for men. Okay, moving on to the price. This is where some delineation and differentiation comes in. So on the price for the Versace Eros, it's a mid-designer price. I found some bargains on the web and on some fragrance sites where you can get some discounted pricing to where the designer price comes down to a mid-designer price. So if you like the Eros line, I would suggest picking this up because it's reasonably priced from the pricing I've seen recently. Now moving on to the Bleu de Chanel, and what I've mentioned before in some other Chanel videos is that you rarely see these at a discount. So 99% of the time, you're going to be paying full designer price for Chanel products, and deservingly so. Chanel is very high quality, and you're going to pay for it, but it's worth it. Now, they're both, in summary, they're both very high quality, excellent and classy scents, and I think they both would make excellent gifts for either someone you want to gift these scents to or to yourself. buy them for yourself. They're very good choices and very good for your collection. And I think even though these are scents that are bold in terms of they convey a message of youth, I think mature men can pull these off also. In fact, if a mature man wears it, I think women would definitely think that these mature men have a fun side to them. So that's very good. And now, what I mentioned before, how these two become very similar once they settle down. There are very different in some ways, and then unique in their ways. And for the Versace Eros, the quality that comes through towards the end is you get a citrusy mint that goes on and is fairly prevalent throughout its life cycle. If you like a amber citrusy type of scent with some sandalwood in the background, a little bit of wood, you might want to go with Bleu de Chanel. And like I said, they're both, you can't go wrong with either one, and they make good gifts. So that's all I have for you, and I want all of you to take care out there and stay healthy and be safe, and I'm glad to be back, and I wish you all well. So we'll see you later.